Alright, welcome. So we're going to be taking a look at obviously next week. Item clothes, both top and bottom, contrary to popular belief. Now, we can take a look at a few things. So Monday we're going to do back squat. So back squat is going to be 4x3. So heavy, consistent weight across all sets. The biggest idea of the part here is that we're doing quite a bit of undulating. So we're going to go up, down. So sometimes we can do heavy, sometimes we can do a bit lighter, sometimes we do like we did with the 20 squats. So that's what's happening in terms of, like, you can see how kind of back squats are playing through that position. In terms of that, then we have 150 burpee pull-ups. Kudos to those who actively know where the names are coming from. In terms of 150 burpee pull-ups, the biggest thing about this is consistency. As you can see, it's a time cap of 20 minutes, 14 to 80 minutes. Like, in terms of it, like, you can obviously, if it's a burpee modification, reducing the reps down to 100. If it's more in the sense that we can stack plates so the chin can clear the bar, so there's those type of options. One thing, like, as you'll see me drawing here, is that when you are doing your burpee pull-up, that line going across is going to be your, obviously, pull-up bar. If your hip, so we're just going to split this bar in two and give us a rainbow color. If your hip is in front of the bar, you're going to have a harder time doing your burpee pull-ups compared to having your hip slightly behind and in line with the bar. So you want B instead of A as an option in terms of getting better and being a little bit more efficient. And the reason behind that is that if your hip is in front of the bar, the ability for you to now jump and get back up is going to be a little bit harder. The same reason is that when we're doing a burpee, you effectively want to be able to fall down from the pull-up, right, into that position. Now, if you want to keep into pull-ups, by all means, go for it. I highly recommend trying not to, because it's going to be an aspect that's going to drive a lot harder positions overall. But the biggest thing about this in terms of being consistent, that means that you need to push a good tempo from the start, and you're going to have to hold to that position. Once you get past 100 position, this is when this gets a little bit slightly tougher, and this is all about how much cardio you have in that position. Giving you a few things like a checkpoint, like get to 50, get to 75, get to 100, it actually definitely helps you get through. Now, in terms of our Tuesday, we have a snatch push press, so this is going to be behind the neck, and I think that's always going to be the biggest thing. In terms of the snatch push press, what we're trying to do is work on lockout into that position. So effectively, like you see here on the drawing or from a side position, that when you're in that snatch position and you have your head going forward, you effectively want that position being pushed perfectly over the body. Now, for this to be a lot more accurate to the person, as you can see I'm drawing here, it should be completely over that midline position. So effectively, you don't want it going outwards, and you don't want a position where it's too far forward over that base. It should be directly over those shoulders. So that's kind of giving you an idea of where we want to be putting that. If you want to think about this in the bottom of the snatch and kind of that turnover position, that snatch push press is coming into position in terms of how you can get to this. Now, obviously, you can see it's every 2.5 minutes, so we have a decent amount of time. It's just building to a heavy rebounding, something that you must be conscious about. Don't just like let it drop, actually absorb that. Now, what that preps us for is that we have a beautiful full time. In that, you've got your 50 overhead squats, 100 butterfly sit-ups. Simplistic workout with an ascending weight scheme, but a descending rep scheme on your butterflies. So you can see weight will go up with a descend. Everyone's going to be like, why wasn't it 20? Because you're going to be absolutely yoked. So that's why there's a drop. And because if you think about it, by the time you've already got there, you've hit you have hit 80 overhead squats. Adding another 20 into that position is going to drive a lot of people to the point of where the workout becomes a little bit too long and too much DOMs are going to be attributed to that. Your hundreds is, as you can see, is splitting in your 50s, so you're going down and then you're just having that position. So it's a nice one in terms of this. A big focus on this is ensuring that one, your overhead stability is in a good place. Your snatch push press is going to prime that. Your butterfly sit-ups, add mat if you want. It's up to you on that position. I don't recommend substituting this to a toasted bar workout just because you don't like doing butterflies. And the reason being behind that is at the time you finish this 100, if you had to do the 100 toasted bar, majority of the workout will be over by now. So keep that in position. Butterfly sit-ups, lying leg raises, V-ups, if you want to do different modifications on that one. If you're scaling it in the terms of position, try to keep that there is still a ascending weight pattern, even if you're starting lighter and still only ascending by a little bit. And the idea here is that it should get more challenging and tougher as you go on. It shouldn't be the same weight across all sets. So there's that one. Now for your Beautiful Wednesday, let me just shift everything. Oh, too much of a shift. Your Beautiful Wednesday. So we're going to do some ring muscle up work here. I put a video for everybody to see exactly what we're doing. So let's spend some time learning how to go to ring to hip, dynamic face bone with a little bit more explosivity. Once again, people do enjoy doing a little bit more ring work, so that's why I'm kind of throwing in just a little bit there before we cycle out a little bit more. It's not too bad in terms of position. A lot of what we're trying to get, and you'll see in this position now, when I draw, is that when the ring is, when you're on the high rings, a lot of us transition by pulling into the ring very quickly, and our hips are up into that position, right? It's a problem in terms of how we get over, because now we rotate into the ring and we can't actually get around the ring. So the big thing about this is I'm not a great drawer, but what effectively you want to see is that you want to be in a position where your body is in this position, so you can turn over. And yes, the arm and anatomically does connect to the head, just letting everybody know. That position allows us turnover, and you can see in a position of watching those videos as well, but also when you watch any of the ring muscle ups, the idea isn't effectively to get your hip high enough, so you can see that the hip is high enough to allow rotation around the ring. If your hip is too in line with the ring, which a lot of people do, you can no longer turn over because the ring moves this way. So you're going to be out of position. So it's always ensuring that the hip is somewhat in line with it, but as you can see, either behind it or slightly below it. So you're going to see that through the videos. Then in terms of obviously the workout, it's a paired workout. This is going to be doing 5 minute enracements. I know it should be increments, but we got close enough to that, and I'll blame some study brain on that side of things. So partner one's going to do a 40 meter sandbag carry. We're going to do the 70 and 50s, and then your partner two is going to do 10 box jumps and 20 wall balls. As you can see, that swap off to partner one finishes the length. So the big thing about these 5 meter increments, it means that we're going to be rotating quite a bit in terms of turning. So it's going to have to create a lot of stability in the core, and it's going to make sure that you actively tight so that you can keep that moving. Try not to run these to the point of the sandbag carry is to fill the load. You running 5 meters is taking away from the point and also adding undue stress upon the side. Now, your Thursdays, we are doing some shuttle runs. Now, we start with 4 shuttle runs. One shuttle run is 15 meters, i.e. 7.5 one way, 7.5 the other way. That's still one shuttle run. We're not going to repeat any semi-final workouts where people thought one shuttle run up was one. It's not. It's a half. So we're doing 4 shuttle runs, 10 air squats, 5 push-ups. So effectively, you're going to increase 4 shuttle runs, 10 air squats, 5 push-ups, and you're going to keep adding each time. So you can see that because it's an AMRAP of 35 minutes, it's going to just mean that your shuttle runs keep getting more, your push-ups get more, as well as your air squats get more. So it's always 4 shuttle runs increased, 10 squats and 5 push-ups. So you can see by the time you've hit round 3, you have 12 shuttle runs, 30 air squats, 15 push-ups. This is a small little Murph prep. This Thursday is going to tell you everything about Saturday if you're doing Murph. And the reason why is that in the 35 minutes, you're going to be actively feeling a lot of what you would feel in Murph. So be conscious in terms of how you feel and how you're going to do that. Play the game here, which is smart sets. Don't just go, oh, you know what, I'm going to go unbroken on my 10s and unbroken on my 15s. And I get to round 4 and now I'm no longer going to do push-ups. Some smart 5s are going to work into your best idea here. Now, obviously Friday, I've just given a little lowdown on how you can play through this to get to a better position. But we have a beautiful one of 32, 28, 24, 20. So pull-ups and push-ups into 16, 12, 8, and 4. Hang power cleans and toes to bar. We're doing double in terms of capacity for toes to bar in the week. This is kind of tested to see not only how people are holding volume from a core perspective, in terms of also can we work through core in multiple dynamic planes. So this is going to be obviously more of a hanging plane compared to being on the floor, which is going to actively stop you and keep you in a rigid position. Then you can see with the hang power planes are going to be in a nice position. We do have built-in rest. The majority of this workout is going to be felt between the pull-ups and the push-ups. One thing I would highly recommend is that you can see that, like I've given you here, barbell cycling with small breaks. Do 4s, 4s, 5s, 5s. Try not to be in a position where you come out and go, you know what, I'm just going to do 20 and now I'm going to suffer. So this is all about in terms of how you can pace. Those who are efficient at a barbell are going to do really well. Those who are efficient and smart about breaks are going to do really well in this. So it's like, this is a nice good grind tester. It's going to help us into that position. And then, obviously Friday, Saturday is beautiful Murph. Once again, that Murph is 1 mile run, which is 1.6 kilometers, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squat, 1.6 kilometer run. Highly recommend if you're going to do broken up Murph, you do Cindy, so you're 5, 10, 15 on your push-ups, air squats, and pull-ups. And then what you do is you do that with a 200 meter run, I believe it's 200 meter run, for 20 rounds, and you should be able to get that. But I'll put it down in the comments anyway. But other than that, stay salty, enjoy the week. It is going to be a nice, tough one. We have another 2 more weeks before we have a bit of a deload. And then what I'll be doing is sending out a survey by the end of next week anyway for ideas on how you find things, what would you like to see, what skills would you like to develop. So you know the way we've been doing running for May is anything that we effectively want to do for the coming week. Other than that, enjoy, and if you have any questions, do let me know.